Well, ladies and gentlemen, you just heard Richest the Rags by Europe from the Live at Sweden Rock album, which is due out October 21st. It's a 2 CD set with DVD and Blu-ray for your viewing pleasure, and I'm very, very pleased to welcome on the show Mr. Joey Tempest.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No, it's my pleasure indeed. I'm a huge, huge fan of the band, have been for many years, and it must frighten the hell out of you when you realise it's 30 years.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but we started young, so let's leave it at that.
I bet it's all gone in a flash, hasn't it?
Yeah, everything goes in a flash, doesn't it? It's been great though. I mean, we're still the same gang that recorded those early albums, and it's so nice to tour and to make albums with friends and to make this special gig at Sweden Rock together. After all these years and playing songs from all the albums, it was a magic night, and there was a lot of fans there, new and old, and what a night.
It must be encouraging to see new fans and obviously a lot more young people going to gigs again now to see bands.
Yeah, it's like festivals and live bands, they're actually doing great at the moment. The record business is another story, but
Sure.
the live scene is okay. And when we released Last of Odeon a couple of years ago, we started gaining a new audience, a younger audience, which has stayed with us. And then Bag of Bones came, and then we sort of branched into classic rock and a little bit of blues territory. So it's kind of, we're bringing new people on board as we go, and it's really nice, you know.
Well, do you say that on the blues territory? Certainly on Bag of Bones. I mean, I have a love of blues as well as rock, and I mean that's really, really grew on me, that Bag of Bones, the bluesy side of it. I thought, did you find it's a bit of a risk? Because some people get a bit funny about the blues side of stuff, and I always think it is, intrinsically linked, blues and rock.
It is linked, and it was linked very much with bands like early Whitesnake and stuff.
Absolutely.
They made rock, but it has blues. They had blues undertones, and that's basically, we listen a lot to that. Even UFOs got some blues stuff in it, you know, and we listen a lot to that. When we grew up, and I suppose on Bag of Bones it just came out naturally. We were ready to express ourselves that way. We couldn't have made Bag of Bones even 5 years ago. Forget it. There was just a lot of touring and a lot of albums made, and we could handle it. We can do a rock album like that. But it wasn't really a risk. We just did it, you know. And we're not going to dive any deeper into the blues. We're not going to become a blues band as such.
Well, obviously, John's done his blues
album.
Oh
yeah, he's a little bit more into that, and I'm sure he's going to explore more of that on his solo albums. But I don't think Europe will dive deeper into it. We've done our sort of stint into that territory. I'm sure the 10th Europe album will be slightly different. We're still carrying that with us, of course, but it would be slightly different.
But it is great, the fact that the albums that you've done over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, you have put a slightly different tilt to it while keeping Europe's sound, but you have sort of experimented it in various different directions.
Yeah, and it helps. I mean, we look at bands like Rush and see what detours they've made and what different albums they made, and they upset the fans sometimes, and then all of a sudden all the fans from all the albums come together. They follow the bands, and I like that. You know, we prefer to be on that side of the fence rather than, there are bands like they make the same album over and over again. That's okay too, because you build up a really strong core audience when you do that, but you tend to stay at a certain level. Whereas we like to go different routes and different albums because we want to keep ourselves on the toes and also keep the listener on the toes, but still keep those big choruses, big riffs, keep the Europe thing, but try just to go left and right a little bit, you know?
Well, it has to be said, if you're going to pick two guests to appear on the live recording, I mean, you can't do much worse than Scott Gorham and Michael Schenker.
No, they were actually top of the list. We had a list that we made together.
Oh, right.
And we called them, and they were so genuinely interested that it made us, you know, really humble, and it was so nice that they came and they hung out with us before and after the gig, and they did a great performance, and we were lucky that the songs went well as well. I think it was Scott Gorham who suggested Jailbreak to us, and we said that'd be great. I think we suggested Lights Out for Michael. He thought that was great. So it was just everybody was in agreement, and we didn't rehearse, so they came on the gig day. We've obviously rehearsed the songs by ourselves, but it turned out great.
Well, I must say, the live, what I have heard from the live albums for me, they can be hit and miss things. I can think of live albums without naming them that sound absolutely lifeless, as though sort of everything being stripped out. But something that I've repeated on the previous shows is the production of albums, and the sound of production on this is absolutely superb.
Yeah, great. Thank you. We think the same thing, because a lot of people these days, you know how easy it is to record a live album. A lot of people bring equipment with them everywhere, digital equipment, and they mix it fast, and it just is a little bit flat and a little bit soulless.
Exactly.
And they just churn them out, and we can do that too. We record every show we do, and we could release live albums if we want. But this one, we put in the extra hours in the mix, and then we put the audience in and use the audience mics and make it sound like more like an arena, and work on the feel of the DVD and the live CD. We wanted it to sound like a real live CD, and it took a bit of work this summer to do it, but it's worth it, because I agree with you. I don't like listening to live albums normally, and a few of them stick out and they work,
Yeah, I can only think of probably half a dozen live albums I can actually listen to again and again. And I think what you said there, the fact they are flat, would be a perfect description.
Yeah, it becomes like that because it's too easy to record them too, and you mix them fast, and you don't really mix it properly with a really big desk and trying to get the dynamics in there, and so you feel like it's depth. You know, like one instrument or one microphone would be a bit behind the other, and you get that depth in it. But usually people don't think about it; they just churn them out, and it's a pity, really, because the biggest live albums, like Live and Dangerous or Strange in the Night with UFO, or even go back to Deep Purple's Made in Japan, it's just so real, and it's deep, and it's really well recorded and crafted, you know.
But it's great that bands have made an effort. Because I said it is too easy just to churn stuff out, and it's how can I say? It's almost an insult to the fans, really.
Yeah,
it's an assumption. Well, they'll just buy it anyway, so
exactly.
It won't bother.
And they keep the cost down as well. It's so easy to do a live album. You record it on your digital. You bring your digital desk to your show. You record it, and then have somebody mix it. That perhaps not that expensive, but it's quick, and you do it. And you're right. The fans are the ones that suffer. I think you got to put in a bit of effort.
Well, going forward to live stuff, of course, next year you are on a phenomenal tour in the UK.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got Foreigner coming over with obviously Kelly Hansen now on vocals.
Yes.
Of course, British Favourites FM.
Yeah. Well, we have a relationship with both of them. FM supported us in late 80s, beginning of 90s. I'm not sure exactly when, but I remember meeting on the road. They supported us on a few gigs, and they're really cool guys. As far as Foreigner goes, I mean, great songwriters. I mean, Nick, it's fantastic. But we also played with them in 2010 at the Roundhouse iTunes Festival. And that's when we realized they were a great rock band. We didn't know. I mean, the new singer and everything, and he's great. And the band was rocking. And so when we got asked to do this with them, we said yes because we knew it would be a great package. I mean, Europe is on the ball. We play great at the moment, and they're a great rock band. So I think the evening's going to be fantastic. But if we wouldn't have played with them on iTunes Festival 2010 and seen them play, we may not have said yes immediately. But since they were a great rock band, we wanted to do it. And also, we get to play bigger venues again. We've been doing great tours in the UK on the Academy circuit and Shepherd's Bush, but now Hammersmith, Odeon again, and up a level in most cities, and it's really nice for us.
I'm so glad you called it Hammersmith Odeon.
I know, it just sticks. I have a plaque at home. Yeah, I have a plaque at home. It's at my parents' place in Sweden. It says Hammersmith Odeon. When you play there in the 80s, the early days, you got from the owner, you got a plaque saying Europe. It's a picture of Hammersmith, and it says Europe and Hammersmith Odeon on top, and it just sticks in my head, that name. And I went there when I was a kid to see Thin Lizzy. I was only 16, I think. 24-hour boat trip.
Wow.
With our first drummer, and I went to Hammersmith when I was just 16 the first time. It was amazing.
Well, I'll be honest, I've only seen you sing live twice. I look back at gigs to think, how did I miss certain bands? I saw you guys when you played Milton Keynes Bowl.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a kind of a one-off. It was kind of a weird gig, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. It was actually a really great day. I mean, it's when I think who was on the bill that.
I think it was Skid Row, Vixen, Europe, and Bon Jovi. Yeah.
Yeah. And
no, it was a good day. You know,
it was great.
good.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. From what I remember, through a sort of alcoholic haze, I think.
Yeah, it was my birthday. I think 19th of August, in '89. I think it was.
'89 was it? God blimey! And then
something like that.
Actually, come on stage when Dare were playing the Astoria, and you came on.
See that you've been doing your homework. Not many people know that.
Yeah, I can.
That's when I met Scott the first time. That's when I met Scott Gorham the first time. Yeah.
No, we can't remember. Back then, I can remember as clear as day.
I know. Yeah, I just remembered it now when you said it. Yeah, I remember meeting Scott backstage, and Dare was supporting us for part of the Prisoners of Paradise tour.
Yeah, and they did a one-off gig at the Astoria off the back.
Yeah, and they invited us, me and Scott, to do Boys Are Back in Town, I think.
It was, indeed.
Yeah.
Also, you've got a new album planned for next year already.
Well,
so you're staying busy, shall we say?
It's going to be very busy. We're going to we're going to Asia right now we're doing a good festival in Japan called Loud Park Festival, and it's one of the biggest one over there. So that's going to be great. Going to Taiwan, do a show, that'd be great. But then we also do in Mexico, 4 gigs in Mexico. For the first time, we're going to Mexico. We're looking forward to that. We do in Dubai. That's the first time we'll go there as well. And then one more show before Christmas, and that would be in Sweden. 2 hours outside Stockholm. That's going to be great as well. And then we have a couple of months to write music, actually, before the touring starts with Foreigner and some Spanish gigs just before the Foreigner tour, I think. So, yeah, we're going to tour and make a new album next year. That's going to be interesting. Very busy.
It is indeed. For those of you who want to know about, obviously, the UK tour with Foreigner and FM, that starts April the 3rd at Manchester's O2 Apollo. And then, obviously, you're playing Newcastle City Hall on April the 4th, Glasgow April the 5th, Nottingham Royal Centre April 7th, Sheffield City Hall April 8th, Portsmouth on the 9th, Bristol on the 11th, and then, of course, Hammersmith Odeon on the 13th, and then Wolverhampton on the 15th. And I'll tell you what, it is great to see a band doing a proper British tour.
Yeah, that is a good one. That's a nice venues and quite a few cities. So that's a good one, yeah.
So many people say, oh, we're doing a British tour, and they do maybe 1 or 2 dates. No, that is a tour.
Yeah, no. We're going to look forward to that. That's going to be great.
Well, Joey, thank you very, very much for coming on the show. I much appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It was nice. Loving
the live album. Hoping to catch you guys by hook or by crook next year when you're out on tour. So that is a package I certainly want to see.
Great. Well, we're looking forward to it. Great to be back in the UK again. And I've lived here for a long time now, so I try to drag the boys over as often as I can, you know?
And so you should.
Yeah.
Joey, thanks very much indeed.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now. Bye-bye.